My hair's getting super long. I've not had time. All right, we are live. Welcome, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the $7 to $100 million podcast. On this pod, we talk about life, liberty, and the pursuit of moneyness and growing money, scaling of businesses. Joined by Danielle Spire, marketing manager, and Paul DeMott, our CTO. Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Morning. Guess what today is?
21.
Episode 21.
We've officially made it past episode 20, which means we're in the top 1% of podcasters because everybody quits before now. So let's go. Doing it.
Should have brought some champagne, but didn't think about it until now.
And we've actually heard that some people watch our podcast, so like that's also a good sign to have even have a little bit of like we had like a lead come through from the podcast, right?
Yep. Yeah. The podcast, booked a meeting. I get a lot of like random reach outs from people who are like, like the pod. I'm like, oh, thanks, man.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So it's like, all right, cool.
Reach out to me.
So it is. It's because they're not live streaming on your socials.
Yeah, I actually need to get that set up for sure. Yeah, I want to live stream LinkedIn at least and YouTube.
I'm really, for me, like I've got X, I've got Instagram, I've got LinkedIn, I've got Facebook, and I think most of the viewers come through Facebook. Right? Yeah, I think I have the most connections or whatever, I guess. But people who know who I am. But we'll keep going, and it'll get better over time. All right, let's do this morning. All right, so let's, like we did last month, I want to review. Let's take a look at the sales. Like, how many proposals have we sent this month? So let's just get a full breakdown, Paul, and like just see how we're doing this month. Of what have we spent on ads? How many conversions? How many leads have we generated? How many proposals have we sent? How many have we closed? What's our close rate so far? Like, just how are we tracking? Halfway through the month.
Yeah, it's funny to this. I was actually like looking at I had this exact same thought yesterday, so I was looking at all of this, and
perfect.
I do think though we need to kind of tie all the sales stuff together, because I want to make sure that all this advertising is creating either pipeline or sales.
Correct. So basically, the thought process here is let's inspect what we expect. Let's get in and inspect what's happening. Also, my sneaking suspicion is that we're going to need to level up our creative, and we're going to need to be testing different lead magnets. Like, we need to keep doing what we were doing the very first month, which is like basically it's the difficult thing is as soon as we settle into a groove and we're like, okay, we're now comfortable with this new thing, right? Well, that means we're no longer growing. We're no longer pushing the bounds, right? The boundaries. So I think the two things we have to keep in mind is if we want to win in our space, in our industry, we need to be willing to do things other people aren't willing to do, or risk things other people aren't willing to risk, or we need to be better than they are in the categories that we're playing in. So I think that's what we need to remember. And for me, it's like, all right, let's look at what we're actually getting. Let's make sure it's working. And then if it's not working as well as it used to, or it's not working as well as we want, it doesn't mean we stop. It means we get in and we try to diagnose the actual issue and what is causing it not to be the right fit. In my opinion, Paul, it's probably all going to come down to audience targeting, right? If we get too small of people, then it just doesn't work. If we get the right size businesses with pain, then they're going to buy, right?
Yep.
So I think that's going to be the kicker. Like yesterday, for example, I had two meetings that got booked in my calendar.
Mm-hmm.
One, and so I asked the people like, hey, how'd you hear about us? One guy, he was like, oh, he said, I saw your video where you're like, wait, stop. Like, don't sign that contract before you talk to Helium. And he was like, I was about to sign a contract. But then I talked to you guys.
Hey, that shows that Andromeda is working. Wow.
Right, exactly. He was literally about to sign an SEO contract. And I was like, dude, no way. Now, the problem is he's a brand new business. Like they're a brand new company. Like they're less than 10 grand in sales, right? Now he owns another business, so he understands business, but like he started a brand new company. And so when we talked about budgets, like, he was going to spend like $7,500 over a 6-month period. And I told him, like, you need to be spending $6,000 a month at minimum if you really want this thing to happen and you want to work with an agency like Helium. So, and I said, hey, you may not be at that level yet, and that's fine. If so, go find a solo freelancer who works out of his home, who has no employees, who's going to be cheaper, but who find someone who knows what they're doing. But because they don't have scale, they're going to be less expensive, probably. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily, but probably less expensive. Go hire that guy, but don't hire an agency who's super cheap because they're going to suck, right? And he's like, yeah, that makes sense. So I was able to like give him advice of how not to waste his money, but like So it was exactly what we were targeting. It's just too small, right? Then the next business was like a $5 million, medical clinic, and they are spending a lot of money on Meta, and they realistically could spend 8-10 grand a month with us, ads and management fees and stuff.
What did they select as their budget?
Oh, good question. Let's see.
Yeah.
I can probably tell you.
I think it was like 1,000 to 3,500, something like that.
Okay, yeah. We're getting a lot more of those recently, which is good.
Yeah, they are like a health and wellness / like they do IV therapy, they do like semaglutide, they do peptide injections, like that, like health med spa, right?
Yep.
Which is a really good market for us because like that's growing like crazy. Peptides, dude. Oh my gosh, like peptides get like 600,000 searches a month and has just massively gone up. So peptides is a huge growing market. Good place for us to serve. Yeah, they put 1,000 to 3,500 as their budget.
Yep. Yeah, I kind of think those are probably the most achievable right now. Is more of those.
Yeah. That was a great.
I think the bigger ones like 5,000 plus are going to be much harder to get just through Meta. Like we're gonna get those every once in a while. And we did get one from Organic yesterday.
Oh, good. Organic social?
No, Organic Google.
Okay.
Digital marketing service page.
Yeah,
he put his budget as 1,000 to 3,500, but he also had a Gmail. He didn't have an actual like company URL. He just had a Gmail account. So it was like, oh, okay. Like I saw those. I'm like, whatever. Both had Gmails, but both actually had businesses. So it was interesting. Like, I don't know why they gave Gmails instead of their work emails, or maybe they don't have work emails. Don't know. So I'm starting to.
I think that potentially. I think one thing we should keep in mind is that like if you ever on Instagram and you click on one of our ads and you go to the landing page, there's some degree of like auto populating form fields and stuff. So like I wonder if that could be happening, like where it's like people have well, if you think about like people like on their browser or even on Instagram will have like their personal details like saved, and they don't have to reset. Yeah, so I think that could be happening too. But yeah, I mean a couple of things that are at least good for us is that sometimes the under 500s are actually good, and then also sometimes the non-business emails are good. So like our tracking of good leads misses those. So, but it's better for us to not count those really. But it's at least good that like some of the small bucket is not like all junk.
Yes, agreed. All right, let's can we look at let's just go through the numbers. Who wants to share?
Yeah.
Danielle, I think we should look at proposals from HubSpot. I think that's the most accurate.
Yeah, sure.
I'll quickly share. Let's just go through lead numbers really quick.
Yeah.
So this is the last 30 days. So 63 meetings completed, 151 booked, which is absolutely insane if you look at where this number was. Like we used to book I don't know, like 40 to 50 meetings in a month. So 3x meetings. Our lead number has not really improved much since we started running this marketing.
That's the 3,500 plus budget.
Yeah, the 3,500. Like a lot of people just don't mark that, but we get a fair bit of like we get a fair bit of people from 1,000 to 3,500. That has increased a lot. So this number has gone up from, it started around like 18%, and now we're at like 25% are over this. And then total conversions 378 over this time period. If you remember last time I think we were closer to like 300. Let's see. I think I have like trend data too. But yeah, you can just see meetings booked have been going like way up. And completed meetings have been going up too.
So far in the month of August, Danielle, how many proposals have we sent? Like how many proposals have we generated from everything we've done here so far?
Yeah, 26.
You generated 26
proposals.
I'm
sorry, that's quarter. Sorry, quarter. Whoop. That would be awesome, right? Sorry.
Great.
3, 5, 7, 9.
9 proposals generated so far this month.
Yes, that are.
And how many
HubSpot.
deals have we signed so far?
But that does include 2 of yours, by the way. So without you, it'd be 7.
Well, the proposals include mine.
Yes, 2.
That's
2
okay. We should include mine because I am taking some of the leads.
Yes, and sorry, and then what was the next question?
So yeah, how many proposals have we generated so far this month? Sounds like 9. Mm-hmm. And how many have signed so far? How many have like inked contracts?
6.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Possibly 7. Well, 7 technically. The one that Ryan put in billing yesterday, but since they haven't paid, I don't technically count that as one until they paid. But so it would be a 7th.
They're gonna pay.
So we're actually on pay because I think what we need to be hitting is around 10 to 15 sales a month if we want to be near our numbers. Yeah, and that's gonna be like a little bit of a mixture of some bigger deals, a bunch of these kind of like smaller, more profitable deals. So we're on pace right now. Although the proposals are kind of low, I think, to hit our number this month. So we should dig into that probably more too.
So last month we had a 60% close rate. Now, I know this is not perfectly accurate because I'm taking the number of proposals generated versus the number of proposals closed, but proposals are not always generated in the same month. So a proposal could be generated in July that closes in August. So that's not perfectly accurate number. So I know that is happening, but if we've generated 9 so far this month and we've closed 6, well, 7's about to close. Because they just have to pay, but they've already signed. So I mean, that is 7 divided by 9 is a 77% close rate, which is still too high, which is great. But that means we have definitely price flexibility. So I'll be really interested to see with our new pricing how that does. If our close rate stays high, Paul, then we might want to just continue to up our prices because we're closing at too high of a level. At the same time, if we make them really profitable and we close at that high of a level, like it actually still may not be a bad thing, to be fully honest.
Yeah.
Right? It might be worth it.
I wonder if that's
I don't know. I am curious.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, the 2 things I'd be really curious to know their impact is, like, how much have the guarantees increased the close rate? Because I would guess that that's a big contributor. And then I think, 2, I think secondly that I do think we're being a little bit more like selective of who we send a proposal to versus before, because like we were in the habit before of like a second meeting would end and they'd be like, yeah, I'm interested, and then like our team would be like, okay, I'll shoot over a proposal this week,
right?
But it would be like they're not really that interested, like
no.
And so I think too the fact that we're our conversion rate has gone way up because we're basically saying like we're forcing them to make a like yes or no, like, are you serious or not decision? And then we're not sending it to people that are just like, no, we're not. Right. So those 2 things I think are like really improving the close rate, which is good, but it also kind of changes what the close rate means relative to the other months. Like
the other thing too is, and I've started thinking about this now, like over the last several months, I've been jumping on and helping reps close a lot of their meetings, like as we're just practicing the frameworks and like, see how to do it correctly. Here's BAM FAM. Here's asking for the sale. Here's not giving up when they're like, well, I got to think about it. What do you have to think about? Let's unpack that stuff. And then like just continually pushing towards making a decision and closing, either tell me yes or tell me no. That has been helping a lot, but I need to now let the reps start to run more on their own so that they can do it on their own, because that's the whole point of the role, right? The whole point of the job is to be able to do it well on their own. So I need to start morphing my sales training now to be one of like, I'm going to join your calls and do this with you too. You've seen me do this a bunch of times. You know the mindset. Now you need to run the calls, and then we're going to watch the game film together afterwards and unpack, right? Mm-hmm. This was really good. This was bad. This was good. This was bad. Like change this, keep doing this. So we got to move to that, like in that next level, or else like, because we have to get to the point where the reps are truly replicating on their own and they're actually selling, right? So that could affect our close rate as well too. That could drop close rate some, because I think I'm artificially pumping up the close rate with my ability to close. We need to replicate that through the team though, because if we can, like, then if it's like we can run ads and generate leads at will, and the team can really close at a more than 50% level, like we're in business. Like then we're in good spot, right?
Yep.
Like that's really, really solid. Like we're going to be able to grow with that for sure. Okay, so also in terms of, I would say, proposals this month, it's looking at current pipelines. I could pull them up, but it's very likely that we close like 3 or 4 more deals this month.
Okay.
Like from what we already have that is already in pipe that is expected to close. That's expected to give us yeses this month. Now some of those might bleed into September, but I do agree, Paul. I think our like meeting to proposal ratio right now is too low, right? If we're doing 151 meetings, but we only generated so far, you say only 9 proposals this month so far, Danielle? That was it?
Yes, and I will say,
and keep in mind we've completed 63 meetings, even though we've booked 151. So there's a lot. There's there was 44 no-shows. So our no-show rate went up from 30% to 40%. So just something to keep an eye on. Still not horrible or anything.
So that's a 14% meeting to proposal rate, which does feel low.
Yes. So I will say with the new SOW generator tool, anytime a rep saves a proposal now, it actually pings me so I can help keep track of if they're actually putting that into HubSpot. Because I'm not saying that they're not doing it, but that is sometimes where something will go into kickoff and I'm like, whoa, this is never even in HubSpot.
Not even been a proposal.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what I'm also wondering is maybe not all the proposals are there right now, kind of thing. So I set that up so that way I can actually make sure that that is.
I think anytime we can like remove friction from the sales team, like reporting, because I do think we have some. I think also like my dashboard, because of just reporting gaps, misses a fair bit of proposals and closed one,
right?
As well as like meeting labels, like the unmarked backlog has been like increasing each week. So we probably actually, Danielle, should also like ask the sales team to just go like update those as well.
Yeah, for
sure. It's super easy now.
I know. We've made it so easy.
Paul, so if we're thinking about from a reporting standpoint and like just getting the information that you need, what is the most helpful if we could collect one piece of data from each of the reps, like programmatically, what would be the one thing that you would need to know to improve the ads?
I would say the reason for either a next meeting or a disqualification. So I need to know that a meeting took place, but then I also need to know what happened. Like what I want to have is I want to have data that supports the feelings that people have. So like there's always sort of like a vibe going on, like our
right. Yeah.
Am I meeting with all these people that have no budget and it's getting frustrating, or are all these people no showing, or like am I meeting with all these people and all they want is this free audit? They're not actually interested in services. I need that type of data to then make like decisions on the ads based off of that. Because that might tell me like, hey, this video is getting us leads that look good, but like the intent is not right on it. Like the people are coming in and they're like they're just people that are looking for free information. So like we need to like adjust the ad a little bit for that sake. That's the most important thing, honestly, is having faster data on that, because otherwise there's a lag and then we don't make changes. We make changes on the later side because it takes.
Paul, is it possible? So all the sales meetings are recorded. I'm now using Fireflies. Is it possible for us to just feed all that data into Claude directly, and then you can just ask Claude any question you want and be like, hey, of the last week of meetings that ran, how many of them actually booked a next meeting, like talked about booking a meeting in the conversation, which ones didn't and why? Like, could we just get that data from scraping the calls without having to go to the reps? Because I agree. If you ask the reps, the problem is what's going to happen is you're going to get the vibes from the last couple days, right? That's what's going to happen because it's the most fresh in their memory. And like if I had amazing calls on Monday and then my calls on Tuesday no-showed, and you asked me like how were the leads, I'm like, I got a bunch of no-shows, right? But Monday my calls were great. So that is just going to be a very situational thing. So I
like that. So are all the reps using Fireflies now?
I think Luke does. I do. But everybody's recording their calls, so all the transcripts from Zoom should be.
Yeah, well, I have the Zoom. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. We could just build something that on Monday. This is what I did for Sean. On Monday, it pulls all the client service meetings and sends it to him as a zip file, and then he runs it through his store card. So I could do the same for the sales reps to Danielle, and then Danielle could use it to look at
absolutely.
We could probably have a store card that then we could run across the dashboard to just update what's going on. And it would be good. I think it would be good to see across the all the calls, what is actually the reality of what's going on, because there's a huge recency bias. Everything's going great, everything's going horrible, everything's going great, everything's going horrible, in a span of 3 days.
Right. We just need more accurate data. Right. That's over a larger segment.
And maybe we can see too if there's
talking to the reps. I can tell you this sentiment generally is when I ask remember Ryan had a day where he was literally 8 to 5 booked every 30 minutes, meeting. Right. And I asked him at the end of the day, I was like, all right, how'd the day go? How'd the meetings go? And he was like, half were good and half were too small. What I have generally seen, so even take my meetings yesterday, I had 2. Did I have 3 and 1 no-showed?
No,
I had 2. Both showed. One was a business that was sub 10,000 total in sales, and one was a $5 million company. Both meetings went well, but the first guy probably can't buy because he's just too small. The second company is a perfect lead, right? It's literally a perfect lead. So that, I think, from me talking to the reps when I've asked them, that's exactly what they say is happening. They'll get good solid leads that come in, and those turn into proposals. And then the ones that don't are just too small, right? They're just way too small of businesses. And I was talking to Vance yesterday, and this is just one example. Once again, vibes, but this was the actual conversation. They were talking through digital marketing and what they're looking to do, and we got to grow and we got to drive traffic and whatever, right? And he said, he's like, well, here's what we recommend. And she's like, her response to even the DR booster was like $2,000 a month, right? And Vance was like, yeah, it's only $2,000 a month. She's like, 2 total thousand? Wow, right? And it was blowing her mind. And he was like, that's the smallest package we got. Who are you talking to, right? That's a very inexpensive program, right?
It's actually, it's
believe it.
Yeah, it's dangerous almost to give someone too many of those, because it starts to change in their mind what price is high and price is low. If you talk to if you talk to large businesses, they're going to be like, that doesn't even see that low of a price. It probably wouldn't even work. Yeah.
It's not even going to work at that level. There's no way it's that cheap, right?
It's good that we're amidst. So one thing, I think I was kind of testing this, but one thing Charlie, I think, was kind of challenging me on is he was kind of he's like, you're just going, the bad leads are going to scale actually even more aggressively as you scale the business.
Yeah.
And so if you get way too focused on solving that problem, you'll create a new problem. You'll start cutting the lead volume down so much that now you're not getting anything because your ads are so restrictive. I think actually what you said at the beginning of this call is what we need to do on social ads, which is you said hey, I talked to this guy and he said he saw our ad. And you said, wait, stop before you sign an SEO deal.
Right.
We captured an element of pain that's out in the marketplace. And I like what Hormozi says, which is there's all of these little pawns now. That's the way Andromeda works. And you're trying to make an ad that works. You're trying to make so many ads that they serve all these little pawns. And so I think we need to do that on our creative side, is have a lot more different ways that people come in, because right now there's intent to buy SEO, but there's 100 different reasons that people are buying SEO. And if we put an ad in front of someone with the wrong reason that's not relevant to them, it's just not going to get their attention. So what we need is all the pains that people have when they're making these buying decisions, we need to have ads, and we need more of those.
What's interesting? I just thought about this is I just Googled it. What percentage of businesses are over $1 million in sales?
Mhm.
And like AI Overview said, only about 9% of small businesses ever cross the $1 million mark. This means roughly 91% of firms generate under $1 million annually. 4 to 9% of all
There's your
businesses.
distribution on Meta. Yeah, 91% are under $1 million.
Right. So I was
Yeah.
thinking about it like, what if the 14% call to proposal ratio is simply a subset of the number of sized businesses in the US? So the reason that the 5 to 10K budget is harder to find is it's just a much smaller
distribution.
subset, right? Like if there's 10 million business owners on Meta, of which 91% of them have never gone over $1 million in sales, right? Then now we are fighting for less than 9%, which everybody else is fighting for too, right? So the question is, how do we just get those?
Well, and I also like something I'd add to that. Like I think it was SitSense. They did a study on B2B service companies, and the higher budget purchases are bought very differently than lower budget purchases. So like one thing that we could be running into is that it's just way less likely that a buyer in one of those companies is finding opportunities via like social ads. Like they said that referrals and like having a short list of people recommended by their peers was like the major way that like bigger enterprise companies made decisions. So I think that like for the bigger fish, the other thing is that yes, there are fewer of them, which is why they're harder to get on social, but also there's just like they like to be in different ponds than we're fishing in. Basically, they make their decisions differently than the buyers in this like smaller price range. So it's kind of like it would be great if there was more of them and we could reach them. But one danger we have is if we make our ads too exclusive to higher end people, but then none of those higher end people are actually making decisions based off of social media ads, then we are we're just starving the algorithm basically at that point. So
right. So I think I actually really like this with our new revenue-based pricing bands, this idea of revenue bands where it's like 1 to 3 million pricing, 3 to 7 million prices, 7 million plus pricing, because it matches what they can afford. It matches what they need. It also matches kind of their churn likelihood, stuff like that. I like what you're saying. I think the question, so if we think back, I mean, we've been doing this for years, right? We've been doing this together for 8 years. So if we think back to the bigger deals we've won and things like that, I mean, a lot of it's RFPs. We get invited to RFPs. We sometimes cause or stimulate the RFP, right? Because we're actually going to them, pitching them something. They're like, "Oh, this is really good, but I actually need to take this more seriously and do an RFP and whatever." And we've pushed those and won those. A lot of them are we call into a business or we get referred into a company, and then it's a much bigger business. Like, so I think for those bigger ones, it's probably more the B2B, typical B2B sales, probably, right? The difficulty of that, we've done that in the past, and that just does not scale as well. So I agree that we should take those and run those whenever we can. But even remember, like Chantal's with Empower, right? It was like, how did Empower had been around for a really long time, then they started to explode. What happened? Well, they had some clients, they did some really good work, then they won awards, and then slowly their name got out to search consultants. They started getting invited, and then they did it right. So it was like this like slow. It's
kind of it's like a different game.
Then it kind of exploded.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know if we can count on that. Also, I think it took like 40 years, right? Like it is literally second generation family owned business. So it's
I don't think that could be our only. Yeah, I don't think that could be our only strategy. It's like too unpredictable. No. But I think we have to be pushing towards that with like some of our efforts. And I think when you grow your company, that just does kind of happen naturally. Like our brand awareness is far higher than it was when we started. Like the searches for our name have gone up a ton.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, you should just see what it is nowadays. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we should actually see what that is. You should check our Google Search Console and see. My Keywords Everest says it's $590 a month now. It used to be like 400 something. But I wonder if it's even higher than that.
Yeah. So I'll just see last. Well, so like in terms of actual clicks to our name, it's like it's probably somewhere around 400. When we look at, and year over year, it's up like 40%.
Nice.
So yeah, so our brand recognition is increasing, and advertising is a way to do that. There's like a lot of different ways to climb the mountain.
Right.
So, but I think that like I think really like where we could get our ads to really thrive is the bucket of like the 1,000 to 5,000 range, where people select that as their budget. I think that's where I think we can get. I think it's unrealistic. Like it's just hopeful to think that we're going to start getting a ton of the 10,000. You sometimes do get the 10,000 guys on paid search, I would say, like because people type in like SEO agency. That's a way that big companies do find companies to work with, but it's hit or miss. It's not a predictable thing. Like I think as we're running these longer, I'm just starting to see the limitations of like what can we do. Like yeah, we can keep making stuff better, and we can keep making our ads more exclusive and stuff like that. But like also at the same time, we're probably not going to get like there's not going to be a day where we generate like, or a month where we generate 110,000 plus leads. Like that's just never going to happen. They don't exist.
Or maybe not on this channel.
Not on this channel. Right.
Maybe that's possible to do via LinkedIn. Right.
Yeah.
But
now the problem with LinkedIn is it's like insanely expensive. Like it's like, just it, but like, I think it's a great thing to pair alongside what we're doing. So like, let me just see. So I mean, like a click to our landing page is like $14 on average right now.
Dang. What is that like compared to Meta?
Yeah, let me look. And Meta doesn't have like a built-in column for this, so I'm trying to figure this out.
Yeah, the actual cost per click.
Yeah.
Versus just
like cost per
yeah.
Oh, here, cost per link click. Here we go. So it's about $7. So it's like half the cost.
It's half. Okay.
Yeah, and some of our ads it's even cheaper. Like sometimes it's like $5 per click.
Have you gotten any leads, like actual leads or meetings booked yet from LinkedIn?
No, but it really hasn't spent that much yet. Like I'm still trying to like, the recommendation is to run manual CPC at the beginning.
Okay.
And the first day it spent very easily, but then there's all these like partner networks turned on that I kept doing research, and everyone was like, these networks are just complete trash, like turn them off immediately. So the second day I turned them off, and then like we got no clicks, and then the third day I like turned it, like I've basically been getting it dialed in, so it hasn't spent its full budget most of the time, and I'm still trying to find like where's the cost per click that works. But I haven't seen anything in terms of actual conversions. But the cool thing is we pay per landing page visit right now, and our ads, that means our ads like get a ton of impressions that we don't have to pay for. So like just in the last, let's see, 7 days. So like what I liked is that we had 4,363 impressions, and this is like basically LinkedIn newsfeed to a audience of exactly our ICP. So just because they didn't click through doesn't mean that we're not getting in front of our audience.
Okay.
So, but I still, there's a lot. LinkedIn has a lot more we can test and improve upon. We may need a different offer there. There's different stuff going on there.
Yeah. All right. I think we should. My gut feel on LinkedIn is we should keep doing it, but we're going to have to like spend more time and energy really trying to get good at LinkedIn and figuring out what is exactly what do we dial in with LinkedIn.
Yep.
Paul, I sent you a video on Instagram this morning of a guy who's done about $4 million in spend on Meta for like creative / agency services. And he talked about like the I think it was 6 different ad styles that he has seen work the best, and like rotating through them in like actual like ad formats, right? So like what type of ads he's seen work the best. Take a look at that video. Maybe share it with Danielle as well too. Here's what stood out to me with that video. He's spent a lot of money on Meta, so he's had a lot of data. He's collected a lot of data on like what does and doesn't work. Number one. Number two is he had like 6 different type of style ads, and it goes back to what Hormozi said, where Hormozi's like, get really good at saying the same thing in a lot of different ways, right? So that it just triggers people differently, right? Where you might say like, do you need better leads? And they're like, no, I don't need leads, right? It's like, do you need SEO? Oh, I need SEO. Well, but that's the same. Okay, you know what? Fine. Right. Okay, got it. Right. Is your paid ads not working in your funnels? And it all comes down to like, do you need more leads and sales? Yes. But it's just saying it in a different way and coming at it from a different angle and coming at the pain from different perspectives, because people react differently to different things and all that stuff. So he talked about different ad styles, and I think that's something we should start doing and experiment with, is not having one type of ad style, but having different types of ads.
Yeah, that's what I think right now we kind of lack ads diversity. Like if we think about it, like we kind of have a little bit, because like right now the 2 bucket video, which is like the circle plus you over Ahrefs is running, but then we have 2 talking head videos where you're in your office. So everything kind of feels the same, like it's not that different. Versus like there's very different styles you can do. Like there's a style like where you got like 3 versions of yourself next to each other. Like one's like, no leads, generating good leads, scaling your company, and you like talk in order. Like there's all these different kind of like styles that people like.
Right. And then he talked about there's the podcast one where you're like, it's like clips where like Hormozi or somebody's on a podcast and they're not looking at the camera, they're talking to the other person, and it's like you clip helpful information. One of them is you got a green screen behind you, right? And you're going through stuff and it's like hitting on the screen behind you, and right. And then one of them's like lists and network stuff. It goes through like, here's what you do here and here and here and here. And then there's the teaching ones. And so he has like these different types of ads. I think we should start doing that. So I wrote a couple thoughts down of what I think we're going, like what we need in the business to do next, right? So what are the next things that need to happen and we need to systematize? So we're doing these consistently. So Danielle, this probably goes to you and your plate from a marketing manager. One, I can send you the thing, but I sent it to Paul. Can you reach out to that guy, like that actual person, but not his company? I don't want a sales rep. I want to talk to him. I want to get to him directly, right? And can we get a conversation with him personally, the actual guy? It's like, no, I don't want to talk to a sales rep. Like our owner wants to talk to your owner, right? Mm-hmm. And I think he would be a really good guy, Paul, for us to connect with and just be like, hey, can we pay you for your time? I don't want to buy the system. I don't want to buy all the service, and we don't want to pay for that. We want to do it and learn it ourselves. Can you teach us? Like, would you consult with us and just skip to the end and tell us what you have learned? We'll pay you for your knowledge. He would be a very good guy to like, what is it going to cost to pay you for an hour or 2 hours of your time to just tell us what you've learned, and then we'll go execute, right? I think that would be much better than like hiring another company to do it for us. That didn't work super well. It's better if we can do it ourselves and we own it, we understand it. So Danielle, I think that's the first thing we should do, is let's get to that actual guy and meet with him, not a rep. Mm-hmm. Number 2 is we need to start having plans for this with our marketing. So what we need to start doing differently than what we're currently doing right now, it's like, I'll shoot some videos, Paul will build stuff, create the ads, and then things are going, right? Mm-hmm. Instead, I think we need to now level up our marketing. And what our marketing, I believe, should be next is, what's the next thing we're trying? Like, we should have this stuff mapped out so there's actually like a plan in place of what's the next ad type we're trying. What's the script? What are we, like it's thought out, it's scripted. Where are we shooting it? What are we shooting? How's it going to go? Like, it needs to be not this extemporaneous, like I'm just shooting videos and flying by the seat of my pants, right? It needs to be much more planned and scripted and intelligently thought out. And they're tests. We still don't know what's going to work, but like this has to be tested and planned and run. I was talking to Sean, and I were talking to Nicole and Josh yesterday, and this is exactly what I told them. Like, look, if we're gonna scale from 7 to 15, there have to continually be less and less things that Paul and I just have to do, and instead things that other people in the business are taking on and then doing correctly the thing that's going to scale us. So for example, what I told Nicole is, look, from 7 to 15, we're going to need to hire middle management, but someone needs to go figure out who to hire, when we're going to need to hire them, at what level, how much we're going to pay them. That needs to be modeled out. But if no one does it, it's going to fall to me or Paul, right? And Paul's going to be working on ads, which means it's going to fall to me. And then give me something I'm going to have to figure out. But I don't have time to figure that out, right?
Yeah,
I
it's
gotta
definitely like top down versus bottom up. Like the difference of like
Exactly.
to grow, we need every all these problems being solved across the whole organization, not just a top down strategy all the time.
That just won't work anymore, right? So like what I was telling then, so I told Nicole, I said, look, if go get the consulting, go meet with somebody who does org dev at a $15 million company, like find that advisor and say, what do you do at 15 million? What does your day look like? How do you plan out the roles? How do you plan out the team? Like, go get the feedback and then just like, oh, okay, right, get the information. Just like we need to do, right? We're like, all right, we need to make our ads better. Let me go find the person who can give me the exact advice. Let me pay them for their time. Like, let me get the knowledge and then I'll just implement it, right? So we need to start doing that with every role here. So I'm doing that with the sales team, right? On the marketing side, what we need to do next, our like actual process needs to be, I think what we should start doing is setting smaller, more achievable goals where it's like, okay, how many proposals do we need to generate next month? Like, let's just start there. Like, how many proposals do we need to generate next month to generate $50,000 in MRR sales, right? Then, okay, how many are we likely to generate? What should we change and what can we improve to get more proposals specifically? Oh, we should be running at least 3 different types of ads. Great. Let's plan the 3 types of ads. What are likely to do the best? What are doing the best right now? Do some of that research. Then we script them. Then we plan it. Then we shoot them, right? And that's all planned out. So it's like on the calendar. We shoot it. We edit it. We send it to... All right. So we got to start being more like...
systematic.
Systematic. Thank you. With this.
Yeah,
we're going to start doing this at every area of the business. So whether it's finance, whether it's accounting, whether it's recruiting, whether it's sales, whether it's marketing, like this is how we have to do it. We have to go look at what is a $15 million business doing? What are we doing? What's the difference? We should start doing those things. And then it needs to get planned out and executed. So Danielle, that's my ask for you on the marketing side. That's like really from marketing. I think right now we just stay hyper focused on ads. Right? Let's just nail the ads game. Like, let's not worry about conferences and cold calling and all the other stuff. Let's just focus here. And I think at the moment it's just Meta, Google, LinkedIn. Like, let's just nail that more fully, right? And like, what's all the type of creative we should be running? How do we test new creatives? How often should we be testing new type of creative? Making, shooting them, scripting them, planning them. And so then like, more and more and more, it's being run by you and the strategy. Paul and I are, doing things. Eventually, we're not having to actually do the things. Other people are doing the things, right?
Right.
So it's replacing us so that there's less and less and less that Paul and I are responsible for. That's how we're going to scale.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's like also taking a lot of the stuff I'm doing like in my head and like having it be like externalized into a structure. Also, so then truly other people can contribute more as well. Like, for example, we could have employees actually help us make some videos here and there. Because like I think having different people in the videos is something we need to test.
Yeah.
So and then I actually think Danielle, we could really dig into like what is Hormozi's like systematic process. Because I was looking at this at the beginning and like he has like a rule like every Monday they run a test. It's also not like just volume of tests, it's strategic testing and also giving it enough time to see the outcome of it,
right?
And so that's where I think I agree, like we kind of need a bigger picture plan and then like a document that is like kind of like showing our insights as we're learning, instead of it, because right now I think it all just lives in our heads, some of it in my head, some of it in Tim's head, some of it in your head. So
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I think that's the next step. So just basically, how do we got to look at a company double the size, and that's what we need to be copying. And then let's create systematized plans where it's not like it's less and less and less of things Paul and I are doing. Like it needs to be less and less about what we do and more about what the team does, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then here's the other missing piece is we've got to map out to execute this properly. What are the things we need? We need to ask this question, not can we do it with this current team? Yes or no. We say, how do we do it? Right. So if it's like, all right, we need to have 6 different types of creative and different types of videos, and I need a script. Okay. How do we do that? So not ask, can we or can't we? Right. That's not a helpful question. It's how can we? Right. What will we need to do it? And in a lot of cases, like, no, we have everything we need. We just need to execute it. Great, let's do it. Or no, we would need another video editor. Great. How much is that going to cost? Let's plan for another video editor. Or we're going to need this thing. Great. What do we need? And many times we actually already have the resources needed to do it if we've just decided this is what we need to do next. Right. So just empowering everybody in the company to be able to move these things forward. That's under their accountability chart.
Yeah, definitely.
So Danielle, what I would say on the marketing side, in my opinion, is really if we try to keep it as simple as possible, it's like, look, we're going to generate leads via ads. Mm-hmm. It's like, let's just get really good at that, and whatever we can do to make that better, right? Mm-hmm. I think the next opportunity is new creative, different ad types, new things that we haven't tried yet, just getting better at that and running new stuff. Mm-hmm. I think that's going to be really important. On the sales side, what I need to do next is now back off some from direct, like running calls with reps, letting them run the calls and making sure that they're running the calls correctly. They're saying the right things. They're closing properly, like all that. So it's like it's indirect coaching. They're going to play the game. I'm going to coach. I'm not in the game. Right. And so like I need to evolve to that level. Then once we get them performing there and that's working, now we're ready to hire a sales manager. Right. And then we just keep scaling up the thing. So that's those pieces. And then Paul, I think on your end, in my opinion, it's like you like writing down what you're doing that's working and continuing to test. And I think to Charlie's point, like I think we just need to continue to test spending way more and just keep upping budgets, right? Because I think he's exactly right. I think if only 9% of businesses out there can actually buy from Helium, that means as we scale, 91% won't be able to buy from us. And that just is what the math is. And it just is okay. And we try to do better audience targeting, but we're going to have waste. It's just going to happen, right?
Yeah. I think I was talking to Sean about this too, and this is like a thing that I think a lot of our clients struggle with too. Is like they're getting these leads and they're like, why aren't all the leads quality? And it's really
right.
that what that means is you don't have high enough volume of leads. Not that like. It's kind of wishful thinking to just assume that all of your leads are going to be like perfect quality all the time. That's not how the market works, because that's just not the way it's distributed. So, right. And so I think it's like if you're not hitting your numbers with the current lead quality, yes, you can improve it and you can get better, but it's a slow process. What you probably need is more leads rather than
right.
Any magic to like suddenly just get good leads all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Agreed. All right, guys, I got to jump to a meeting. This has been awesome. Everybody, I think we've got clear takeaways of what we got to do next.
Yeah.
Cool. And then, Paul, if you can share that Instagram video I shared with Danielle, I think it'd be really helpful. I thought that was a very helpful video in terms of the types of creative. I think that would be a really good next thing that was new to me.
Awesome. Yeah, I also think we need to be using some of the AI tools to try like very different stuff, because AI opens the door for like different like testimonial videos, like all sorts of crazy stuff, like or just like really good hooks. So, yeah,
I totally agree. Yeah, that's one of the things I've not had time yet to really focus on is like really get good at that. But I think that's the next thing. Like I think the next thing is like really making better creative, like making the creative really good. Because I think that will help us stand out a lot, is having the time and focus of really making good creative. Right?
Yep.
All right, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Got to jump. See you guys.